Hi, I'm Curt Frye. In this movie, I want to give you a quick look at how relative and absolute references work in Microsoft Excel. The file I'm using, references.xlsx, is an Excel workbook that you can download using the link that I provide in the video description below. Over on the left, I have a set of data in numerical order, and the numbers go up within a column and then continue on at the top of the next column. And I've done that so it'll be easier to track which cells are being copied when we create references elsewhere in the worksheet. The header values that I have in cells I1, I9, O1, and O9 show the type of formula that we are creating. So here I have equal A3, and that means that it would just copy over the same value. So it would change because the A, which is the column reference, and the 3, which is the row reference, are both relative, meaning they can change. So let's see what that looks like. In cell G3, I'll type equal A3 and enter, and we get the value of 1. No surprise there because the value in A3 is 1. Now let's see what happens when I copy the formula. So I'm in G3. I'll click the fill handle and drag down until I cover down to G7, and I get the values from A3 to A7. And if I click G4, I can see that the formula reports to A4. For G5, it points to A5 and continues on. Now, if I select cells G3 through G7 and drag over to cover the cells in column K, then I get exactly the values because each one of these formulas points to the original cell. And again, that's because both the column and the row are relative and are able to change. Now let's go over to cell M3, and I will type the formula as we see in cell O1, and that is equal, then $A, $3. And the $sign makes it an absolute reference, which indicates it will not change. So in M3, I'll type equal, then a $A, $3. So that's pointing to cell A3. And then enter. I get the reference as before. Now I'll click cell M3 and drag down, and it stays with 1. And if I click cell M7, you can see that the formula did not change when I copied it. And if I were to select cells M3 through M7 and drag the fill handle over until I cover column Q, then I have the value of 1 because every one of these formulas, even when I copy them, points back to A3. I'll move a little more quickly and show you what happens when the column is relative and the row is absolute. So I've clicked in cell G11 and I'll type equal A, $3. So that points to column A, row 3. I'll click cell G11 and drag down to cover G15. And the value of 1 remains the same. And if I click in cell G15, you can see that the formula is equal A, $3. So we haven't changed the column, but we have changed the row. Now I'll select G11 through G15 and drag over until I cover column K. And here I get 6, 11, 16, and 21. So what happened is that because the column is able to change but the row isn't, I will always get the value in row 3, and the column can change. So clicking in cell H11, I can see the formula is B3. In I11 is C3, then D3 and E3. So it makes sense that for the $A3, that the column would remain the same, but the row would change for the values over here. So I will click in cell M11, type equal, and then $A and a 3. So I get the value of 1 as expected, and then I'll click M11 and drag the fill handle down, and I get the values 1 through 5. And again, that's because the column is not changing, but the row can. And if I drag the fill handle over to cover the cells in column Q, then I stay with column A, but the row can change. So all the values here, 1 through 5, are the same because, again, the column doesn't change, but the row does. Copying formulas with relative and absolute references can be a little tricky, and you might need several attempts before the formulas that you create and copy to other cells work exactly as expected. But if you can bear in mind the way that relative and absolute references work when you copy, what you see in this video will help you along your way. And I do hope you found this tip helpful. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to my channel.